guys, this is Spartan765, and today I'm going to do a video on the A2 rear sight and how it works and how to use it and how to set a mechanical zero. Now there may be a lot of you out there who already know this. This is for those who aren't familiar with the sight and maybe just use this as this elevation drum to zero the sight. They don't really do much of the front sight, but this drum is here for a reason. And the gun's elevation is not supposed to be zeroed using this drum. It's supposed to be zeroed using the front sight. Now what I'm going to do is go over what you need to do for like a mechanical zero. And this is getting your gun about on at a 25 meter zero for 300 meters. Or a 300 meter zero at 300 meters, obviously. Alright, as you notice here, the front sight, there's a detent right here. What you want to do when you get your AR, you just want to depress this detent. You can use a nose of a 5.56 or you can use a pin punch. And you just want to make sure that that front sight there, the actual base itself, is level with the actual front sight post itself. So it's nice and flush there. That's the first step in creating your mechanical zero. The second step. Now you'll notice on the side of the rifle right here, video quality is kind of crappy. Sorry about that. Let me see if I can. There we go. Alright. You're going to notice this here. This is a 6.3. Now if you have a 20-inch barrel, this will be like an 8.3. And this stands for 600 meters and 300 meters. Now you'll also notice on the other side of the drum, there's a 500 meter right here. And if we twist it out a little bit here, we got the 300 meter, and then you got the 400 meter. Now what you're going to want to do to set this at a mechanical zero is you're going to want to turn this all the way down. Okay, there's two knobs here. This is your elevation knob in the bottom, and this is your index knob in the top. This normally will not spin freely unless your index set screw, which is in that little hole right there, is either loose or missing. But you're going to need to loosen that index set screw anyway to set your rifle at a mechanical zero. Now what you're going to want to do is just turn your sight all the way down here. And that's turning it in the counterclockwise motion until it bottoms out. Then it's going to bottom out and it'll probably be like on a half a click. You want to turn it back until it's fully locked in a detent there. So you go back about one click or half a click or whatever it takes to get it locked in firmly. Then you're going to want to turn your index knob. If this index knob is not turning, go ahead and loosen that screw. It's a Allen key. Just use an Allen key to loosen it. Then what you're going to want to do is rotate your index knob to the 6.3 position. Now you'll notice right here, right above the 6.3, there's a little indentation there, and there's also a little indentation on the rear sight right there. You want to get that as close as you can to centered. Alright? Then what you want to do is you want to go ahead and retighten your index screw up here. And go ahead and snug that down. You don't need to torque the crap out of it. Just snug it up a little bit. Alright, now your gun is set at a also I forgot to mention as well, the windage, what you want to do here to get this set at mechanical zero. Most A2 sights, any mil-spec A2 sights, will have this line in the back here, and then these hash marks right down here. You want this line lined perfectly up with the middle hash mark. If you don't have that, or even with these hash marks, what I'll do, turn the sight all the way to one side, so you get it all the way over there until it stops. Okay, once it's over there, then count the number of clicks it takes to go all the way back over to the other side and divide by 2, and then click that number of clicks over, and that'll put your sight right at about the center here. Now your gun is set at a mechanical zero. Now the odds of your gun hitting perfectly on when it's set at mechanical zero is, it'll be close, but it's probably not going to be right on, because you got to take into consideration different things. Your barrel, if your barrel's slightly not warped, but no rifle barrel is 100% 100% immaculately straight. Your rifle barrel may be 99.5% straight or 99.8% straight, but no rifle barrel is perfectly, that I've ever seen, is 100% perfect. So you like, let's say you maybe shoot, a quarter or, a half-inch high or whatever at 25 meters. Then you're going to need to loosen this, go out one click at a time. And if you get a 25-meter zero target, it'll tell you with the little squares how many clicks you need to do on each set or sight adjustment on the front and on the rear windage. You're not going to need to be doing anything with the elevation knob, though. That is an elevation knob for when you're shooting at different distances. If you adjust the rear sight and zero it with this knob, you're losing the whole point of this setup here. Now when you have your sight 0 to 300 meters, you can go ahead and turn this to 4, and it should be right on at 4, should be right on at 5, and should be right on at 6, theoretically. That's if you get a perfect 0. Obviously, if you're shooting an inch to the right at 300 meters, your gun's probably not going to be on at 600 meters. It needs to be pretty much perfectly right on there. And that's easy to do with these rifles. It's just a lot of people, especially people who are new to AR-15s, don't understand exactly how these sights work, and how they're designed and what they're supposed to do. Once you get used to this style of sight, it's very nice, very user-friendly. But that's your basic mechanical zero. And just going over the different parts of this, like I said, your top knob, here's your index knob, and your bottom knob is your elevation. You got your aperture, you got your rear sight housing, you got the rear sight base. If you have an A2 rifle where you don't have an A3 carry handle, this will all be part of the receiver here. You got your adjustment knob. I might go over a video on how to disassemble this too. It's not devastatingly complicated. But there are a lot of small little parts. There's a couple small springs and detents in there. This sight here, though, that's critical for your elevation. You want to make sure that, and I already went over this a little bit, but I'm going to stress it again. Do not zero your gun with the elevation on the rear. Zero it with the elevation on the front. Zeroing your gun, you're going to want to use your windage on the rear, but not your elevation. I know I've said that a couple times already, but just can't stress that enough if you want to use your sight the way it was meant to be used. Anyway, that's the video on that. You guys got any comments or questions, feel free to send me a message, Spartan765.